Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rockies Now podcast. This is episode 109, and read the title. This is getting very interesting, and we'll talk about why in just a moment. I am Tom, one of your co hosts. I am joined by my co host, Sarah. Sarah, how are you doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
I am just wonderful. It is starting to warm up just a little bit, which means baseball weather is coming to us. However, as we know, in Chicago and in the mountains of Colorado, there can be some pretty strange weather when it comes to the start of any baseball season. But again, we'll talk more about that as we get closer to opening day. So, as the title of today's episode talks about, this is getting very interesting, meaning, of course, as you and I talked about in the pre show meeting, there have been roster moves made today. Some guys were assigned to minor league camp. We'll get to that in just a moment. Also, of course, the WBC is heating up as pool play wraps up in the next couple of days. And of course, Rockies players, not just for them, but around the league on other rosters, players are starting to make their case to be on the roster, especially those ones hanging out on the fringe of the roster. So just to recap, since our last episode on Tuesday, the Rockies have had 4 games. They lost to the Brewers 10-8. They beat the Athletics 11-6. They beat the Dodgers 6-4 yesterday. And today, unfortunately, we had a tie against the Guardians of 4-4. So anyway, and of course, just to recap, also there was the booming victory for the U.S. 14-4. They are now 2-0 in pool play and looking to advance to the quarterfinal bracket round. But we'll get into that just a little bit. But we'll start with the Rockies. So, Sarah, you and I were talking a little bit in the pre-show meeting. There are some things that stand out. What were some of the performances that we talked about that you mentioned that are definitely standouts in considering as we are inching closer to the season?
Well, it was great to get Britton Doyle back yesterday. First of all, that wrist seems to be serving him well now. Great play out in center field against Dodgers yesterday. Jake McCarthy had some impressive defense as well, and his offense continues to I love Jake McCarthy. He's very aggressive on the base paths. A few steals yesterday. And of course, Kyle Karros is having himself quite the spring performance, slashing 474, 500, 895. He's having a great time, it would seem. But I mean, it feels a little different this year. I know it's hard to separate, not get too excited and things like that, but it does feel a little bit different this time around.
And also on thing I mentioned, of course, is on Friday against the Athletics. We had a 3 home run game. Brett
Mhm.
Sullivan, I'm gonna make sure I get this right. Brett Sullivan hit a home run. Hang on a second. Let me just pull it back up while I look at my notes here. It was Brett Sullivan, Kyle Karros, as you mentioned, who's having a great spring so far, and Chad Stevens. Chase Dollander had a pair of strikeouts as well. So, and to your point, I know, of course, coming off of the record we had last season, we can be the ones who are trying to be the ultimate optimist here, but at the same time, as we've commented, there have been several. This front office has been more active, so we're hoping for better results. But again, fingers crossed here. That's what it will ultimately yield. So, but anyway, um, other thing is, as I mentioned in the pre-show meeting, you mentioned Eric. Sorry, not. I almost said his dad's name. Eric, not
Whew.
Eric.
Wrong
Kyle
one.
Karros. Kyle Karros. Sorry, Kyle. I'm sure you're going to eventually leave your mark in Major League Baseball, just like your dad did. Kyle Karros, of course, is in a 5-way tie for third on the team this spring with home runs with 2. Charlie Condon is ranked second with 3. And TJ Rumfield, who again we have talked about multiple times on this show, he leads the team with 4. And again, I'm not trying to not get overly optimistic about spring training stats, but for a young guy like him, who again had a very impressive year in a full season last year in the New York Yankees AAA with the New York Yankees, he's made the compound case to be the opening day first baseman. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, I don't think we need to rehash this discussion, but I think it's only a matter of time before he ultimately gets anointed with at least his spot for opening day.
Yeah, I think, and it's unfortunate for Blaine Crim that because an oblique injury can be pretty nagging and can take a little while to heal up. I mean, with that injury, TJ has just kind of taken advantage of that and really come out and said, "Hey, this is my spot now." Um, So, and the other thing I did forget to mention earlier, we do have Tyler Freeman back now. He has made his spring debut and been quite the little spark plug. He's really excited about, just he said the other day that he is willing to take on any role that they need him to fill, and he just wants to be exactly that. He wants to be a little bit of a spark plug for this team, and he's been doing it. He's making things happen on the bases. Offensively, he's been performing well just in the very short amount of time that we've had him up. Um, so great to see him back too.
As you mentioned, Jake McCarthy has been really running his motor on the base paths, but in 9 games so far this spring, he is hitting 333 with a 370 on base percentage. No home runs, but that's not mainly what he's here for.
Yeah.
So I think that is, so to your point, I think it's also only a matter of time for him. He is going to be on the opening day roster to some capacity, whether he starts in one of the corner outfield spots. We just got to wait and see, because you pointed out Tyler Freeman has to get back in the swing of things a little bit here.
Mm-hmm. He still has a little bit, and we, of course, we still have a little bit of time. We got a few weeks before the season actually starts. They are starting to whittle some guys down, though, as we saw today. They sent a lot of pitchers down to Albuquerque. Wellington Herrera, Gabriel Hughes, Carson Palmquist, Luis Peralta, and Sterling Thompson was optioned as well. So starting to narrow things down a little bit. We're down to 51 guys in camp, but I think it's going to be fun to kind of see how the lineup starts getting constructed over these next couple of weeks. We're going to get a much better idea of what Warren actually has in mind once the season starts.
Yeah, once the players keep getting, the more and more players that get sent down, the more workload is going to be handed over to the expected everyday guys. Also, I think it's also really important to point out here that Ryan Ritter, in 11 games this spring, he is hitting 444 with a 500 OBP. Again, spring training stats, I understand, but still it's encouraging to see a young guy like him trying to make a case to put him at least on the opening day roster. Now, it's no secret Tovar is going to be at short. That is, I think we can agree, the one infield position that is set in, that is already etched in. His name is penciled in. And we've been talking about Kyle Karros playing third. And we talk about Willie Castro being the second baseman, but Ryan Ritter he's trying to say, hey, putting his hand up in the air, don't forget about me right over here.
Yeah, and it's been nice that he has, they've been able to plug him in a lot of different places. That's going to be super important for him in order to get on this roster, is that he's going to have to be really versatile, and he's done well everywhere they've put him. So that's encouraging to see for him. I think that strengthens his case to be on the roster. And on the other side of things, Hunter Goodman has struggled a little bit, but I don't think anybody's too worried about that. I'm sure he's not. I think he's 2 for 20 so far, which is not fantastic. But again, spring training stats, he's probably just working some things out, but I'm not worried about him.
What some hitters will do, I've noticed, is they are just trying to make contact in the right spots based on where they're getting pitched to. So,
and he did have some great contact today.
Correct. So just because he's not getting hits necessarily right away doesn't mean he isn't making hard contact.
Yeah.
He could be just hitting it to the wrong spot, and then an infielder is right there.
Yeah, that's what's been happening so far. And I mean, you can even kind of say the same thing for Zach Veen, because he's making a lot of contact. He's just hitting it right at people, unfortunately.
He's made some, not just that home run that we, of course, made a point to talk about on this show, but he's making a lot of loud contact.
Yeah.
I mean, just pulling it back up here, he's played 10 games this spring. He does have the 2 homers, including the rocket to center field. He's slashing 263, 391 OBP, but he's slugging 579. So again, he's not going to be on the opening day roster. I think he will be in Albuquerque to start the season, but it is encouraging that the new look that he has, and I'm just trying to phrase it in a mild way there. It's seemingly paying dividends, because he is, like, as we talked about, he's striking the ball well. So that's what I think what we want. I think that's what we and the coaches would like to see at least out of him this spring.
Yeah.
But again, how that translates to his defense, we got to wait and see. Also, I think it's nice to see, well, actually, again, this is to the other end of the spectrum. Sterling Thompson batting .053. Sorry, Sterling.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring it up. again, he is not going to be. I'm not saying he's not going to be on the opening. He'll be in Albuquerque.
Yeah, he's already gone.
Oh, is he? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, as of today, he's in Albuquerque.
Oh, I missed you saying that. My mistake. I apologize. So yeah, I'm just trying to. Jordan Beck, he's not exactly doing well with the slash line, but again, spring training stats.
Mm-hmm.
You already mentioned Hunter Goodman. Braxton, but again, to the other side of the backstop, Braxton Fulford, he's got quite a slash line going at 357 in 8 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's turning into quite the competition between him and Brett Sullivan, as far as who the opening day backup is actually going to be. Brett Sullivan's making himself a really strong case right now.
Do you think he really has do you think they're really discussing which one?
I don't know. Like I don't know how you can't be, because he has just been performing so well.
I'm double checking. I can't remember if Sullivan is on the 40-man roster. Let me just check real fast. Give me just one moment. He is not. The only catchers on the 40-man are Fulford and Goodman. So
he was a non-roster invite.
Yeah. So if Sullivan wants to come up, he's gonna have to get added. But it is kind of a funny little thing. All 3 catchers, Sullivan, Goodman, and Fulford, have all played 8 games. So it's so they're getting evenly distributed playing time.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But again, Moniak, he's having himself a nice spring so far. Willie Castro, actually pretty good. He's only played 5 games though. Rock Reggio, our friend, he has only played 5 games. He's having a nice spring. Tovar is not off to a good start, or at least slash line reads it. But again, he's probably just trying to loosen himself up. He was injured last year, so I think he's just being cautious, or just trying to make sure he gets his full routine down. I don't know. I'm just reading it off here, but he is the one player who is going to have a spot in the info once in opening day with Miami.
And he is performing very well in the WBC. He went 3 for 3 today.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot he is playing for Team Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
And they are still alive. At last I checked, they are still alive, I believe.
Undefeated.
They're 2. Yeah, that's right. They're 2-0. I forgot about that. So, anywho. And also, Bretton Doyle did have a nice catch, so it's good to see he is still not lost a step when it comes to defense. Jake McCarthy made a nice sliding catch the other day, too. Again, it is, I think, honestly, to close out this segment, I would like to think, unless you thought of any other performances that really stood out, it is nice. Actually, I wanted to bring this up. Chase Dollander had a 2 strikeout frame the other day. In 7 innings, he has an ERA of 2.57, which is nice. Keegan Thompson, he had a good start to the spring, but he's kind of had a couple bad innings recently. So Jimmy Herget, 6 great innings. Michael Lorenzen, I'm not sure everyone would be excited to hear me say that Antonio Santella has a 1.8 ERA. Again, it's fluffy spring training stats, so what am I to say? But I mean, also Zach Agnos, he had a clean first inning today. So
I was gonna say, if you don't bring up Zach Agnos, I'm going to.
I was getting to it. Trust me, I'm keeping an eye on him. I know he's one of your bullpen guys, so I was going to try to maybe segue you into that.
He is my I stand by that pick that he will be on the opening day roster. And with Gabriel Hughes getting sent down, there's a little bit more space there. I just feel like he's especially, I mean, he made Harper, Judge, and Schwarber look a little bit silly in that exhibition game the other day. So I just feel like Zach is doing everything he can to get himself a spot, and he's doing a good job of it.
RJ Petty, he wasn't sent down, was he?
Not that I saw. I haven't seen him in a couple of days, but I also haven't seen anything about him getting sent down.
Okay, I would think we get more of an announcement because, again, like we've commented, if he does get reassigned, he will have to go back to the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, let me see here.
I think he pitched last on Friday, I believe.
Yeah, I don't see anything about him being about them doing anything with him yet. Just the announcement from today with Hughes, Palmquist, Herrera, and Peralta
Well, even though I'll make it three players who really, even though they've only pitched either 2 or 3 innings, Juan Mejia, Tanner Goodman, and Brendan Bernardino, very nice. Bernardino or Tanner Gordon have not allowed one single run. It's nice to see. I think Bernardino I have in the bullpen on opening day, and Gordon I think I had him as the long man or the 5th starter. I believe. I can't remember. I have to look back at the episode. So if I get that wrong, my apologies.
And Mejia is performing very well with Venezuela right now. Bernardino's had some good outings with Mexico, as has Victor Vodnik.
Vodnik is doing very well with Mexico. That is true. So. Okay, well, again, folks, it's only since our last episode, we've only had 4 games, but like I said, we're getting closer to opening day, so keep your eye on our page and all others as far as updated news on who's getting sent down, who is getting reassigned, and of course, the roster is going to start taking full shape in the not next several days, but the next week and a half, because we do have 2 exhibition games before the season officially starts. So again, keep an eye on that as we get closer and closer to opening day. Okay. So before we get to the next segment, Sarah, is there anybody you can think of that we missed by chance? Because didn't we get an update also on Kyle Freeland as far as that goes?
He did pitch that first inning against USA, looked really good. I mean, outside of that home run to Judge, he had a great performance there, which, I mean, I don't know anymore. If you give up a home run to Judge, I really don't hold it against you, because he is who he is. So,
well,
I mean, he looked, I thought Kyle looked great for his first performance of the spring. I like he's been really excited about what the new pitching staff is doing and making some changes to become more effective. And it looks to me like he's implementing those and that it's working. So,
well, no one should feel upset about giving up a home run in the first inning to Aaron Judge, because look what happened in the WBC. He got USA off to a booming start in Houston.
He did.
And just for, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, like I said, it's Aaron Judge. If you're giving up one to him, like that's probably the least of your worries.
I would feel upset because I left it up to him, because Freeland did leave that changeup up. But when you do that, good luck. You better get on your knees and pray that Judge is not hit at a country mile. So.
Yeah, if you make any kind of mistake with him, you're going to pay for it. And I mean, from what I could see, really, that was the only mistake he did make. So, not bad.
Except in the playoffs, because Judge has a tendency not to take advantage of every mistake, specifically in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the Yankees are trying to make a playoff run, so we'll see if Judge can be there. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he becomes a Mr. October if the Yankees make the playoffs this year. And just FYI to everybody, the 2 exhibition games for the Rockies before opening day in Miami are against the Detroit Tigers on the 23rd and 24th. So just an FYI. Okay, with that being said, we'll move into our next segment, which is, of course, about the World Baseball Classic. Now, things are really starting to shape up as far as we can see. So just to give everybody a rundown, in Pool A, nobody has advanced to the quarterfinal bracket play. But in Pool A, Colombia has been eliminated after going 0-3. In Pool B, no one has advanced to the bracket yet. But Great Britain, after also going 0-3, they have been eliminated. Over in Pool C, this should not surprise anybody at all. After going 3-0, Japan is the first team to advance to the quarterfinal bracket pool play. Again, shouldn't surprise anybody. But the Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, or Czechia, they have been officially eliminated. And in Pool D, this is the only pool nobody has been eliminated yet. So Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, the Netherlands, Israel, and Nicaragua are still alive. But Nicaragua is 0-2, and they are currently losing. They're currently down against, is it Israel, Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay, so currently
they're down against Israel.
Yeah, so if Nicaragua does lose this game, they will be officially eliminated. There have been a lot of big performances so far. Again, for the USA, as I mentioned, Judge, in the very first inning of Team USA's opening game in Houston, he got us off to a booming start with a 3-run homer. I don't know. This could shape up. Again, I'm not trying to predict the future. I don't have a magic crystal ball. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but it is looking like it could be a USA Japan setup for the final. We'll have to wait and see. Again, as you pointed out, Sarah, there have been some standout performance, specifically Victor Vodnik with Mexico. He has been very good. So is there anybody else any other Rockies player that sticks out to you so far?
Sugano actually had a great performance for Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So good to see that, of course. Everybody, all of the Rockies representation has actually been performing pretty well in the WBC, which is great to see. That these guys in games that kind of matter, I guess. I mean, matter for their country. So yeah, some people try to say the WBC doesn't mean anything. I think it means everything to these guys. I don't know that I've ever seen Ozzy Albies as fired up as he was when he hit that walk off, which the first in WBC history. So pretty cool moment for him.
Mm-hmm.
Now with Israel and Nicaragua, which Israel's up 5-0, so it appears as though Nicaragua will have to go back through the qualifier after this. So that game, that one's pretty important for them, but unfortunately, they are at the end of the sixth and they are down 5-0 right now.
And of course, as you mentioned, Tovar is doing quite well for Venezuela. Senzatella is doing nice. I think he's pitched an inning or two for Venezuela as well. Juan Mejia, he has also been quite a useful reliever for the Dominican Republic as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't heard much. No, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's been kind of, can I just say, the U.S. looks like such boring baseball fans compared to all of these other fan bases.
Maybe
like all these teams are having so much fun.
Maybe or you mean the players, or you mean our fans?
Well, really more the players seem to be, the U.S. just doesn't seem like they're having as much fun as everybody else is.
Maybe I don't know, maybe because, I don't know, there's two ways to take from that. Maybe one, they're just having a serious tone mindset because, again, they're so focused on not having a repeat of what happened in 2023 with a close loss to Japan in the final. Maybe DeRosa's got them with a real focused mindset, maybe. Or maybe they're just, again, I hope this is not the case. Maybe they're just going, yeah, whatever, we're going to win this. No big deal. Cool, whatever. We're going to be back in the finals against Japan. At least I hope that's not the mindset they're carrying, because if they do, and you got to switch your mind. If that's how their approach is now, good luck to really flipping it, doing a full 180 to set it to change it's like going against Japan.
So if you look at, where did that bracket go?
No worries. While you search that, I think it's kind of interesting though. I haven't heard too much stand out about Bernardino, but he's been doing nice for Mexico. Mm-hmm. And I haven't heard much for Lorenzen from Team Italy, because Italy's been doing fairly nice. They again, White Sox prospect Sam Antonassi, he had an inside the park home run, aka a little league home run in an international play, which was very, very nice. And it was helpful, of course, by a terrible relay throw from Jazz Chisholm for Great Britain. So guy wants to be paid like Shohei Ohtani. You got to shape up your relay throws there, man.
Yeah, he has not. Jazz has not had a great performance throughout so far. Now, the one thing I do find interesting, because this Dominican Republic team is unreal right now. They are absolutely on fire. And of course, we'll see. It'll just kind of depend on how Pool D ends up shaking out, because right now it looks like more than likely it's going to be Venezuela and the Dominican Republic coming out of that. Can one of those teams take down Japan? Is the real question.
Well, the odds are low, but can they do it? Of course, there's always a puncher. I always say there's always a puncher's chance. You never know. On any given day, you show up to the ballpark and all of a sudden something just switches and turns on. You can just feel like you can run through a brick wall. Now, like I said, is the probability of that high? No, it's very low. But again, any given day, whoever's starting, whether it's Yamamoto, if he has a bad day as the starter, or Ohtani goes 0 for 4, 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts, you never know.
Never know what's going to happen. I think I'm more excited about what's happening, or what's going to happen in the quarterfinals with Pool C and D, than I am with A and B. I mean, right now it's looking like it's going to be the U.S. and Mexico most likely. I mean, we'll see what Italy does. There's a good chance they could end up pulling that out too. And then, Pool A, Puerto Rico, Canada, or Cuba. We'll have to see what happens there. It'd be a lot of fun to have a U.S. and Canada match up again in the
Well,
quarterfinals.
wh-
But we'll
to
see
your
what
comment
happens.
about to your comment about the Dominican Republic, I remember they're under leadership with the captain being Salvador Perez. I mean, that shows you what great leadership can do. And I think and again, I'm
Well,
sorry if I
Manny is
got
the
this.
captain for the DR.
I thought it was. I'm thinking. Shoot, who am I? I thought Salvador. Hold on, I'm looking. Oh, Salvador Perez plays for Venezuela. I'm sorry, my mistake. Yeah, Manny is the captain. Oh, then never mind. Then forget it. I'm sorry. Manny, Salvi, Manny. I'm sorry, and everybody else. But if I remember correctly, though, Albert Pujols is the manager for the DR, though.
Yes,
So,
he is.
so that tells you again. He just to deviate from to that conversation, he has been talked about to become a potential MLB manager. Whether that happens, we'll wait and see. But it goes to show you he does, of course, carry the gravitas of being a legendary player. And so that commands respect in that regard. So maybe as a manager, he's showing his leadership chops. So again, we'll see if the DR makes a nice run. You never know.
Junior Caminero has been having an amazing performance for the DR. And Manny's defense, Manny has put the full defense on display. He's been amazing.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I mean, this has been a lot of fun to watch.
And again, to your point, it brings the case. Baseball is going back to the Olympics, but however, being during the season, the players' union isn't going to be on board sending all the star players to play for their respective countries. That's the issue. I know so many guys would be gung ho and right on to do it, but you're not just going to give them temporary leave and come back while the season's still going. Their clubs are not going to agree to that. And B, they're not going to agree to a pause during the season to say, okay, we pause the season while the Olympics happen, then we go right back into it.
Yeah, and Bryce Harper actually said something about that the other day that he's getting a lot of hate for. I do think he has a point. He just didn't say it very well. Because he said the WBC is great, but it's not the Olympics. He's hoping that the next CBA they'll be able to bargain something in for that. Phrased it very poorly though, and a lot of people were like, "Then why is he there?" But he is kind of right. This is kind of like the Four Nations tournament was for hockey, as kind of a tune-up for the Olympics or a little bit of a warm-up there. The WBC is kind of the same thing with the Olympics being next year. I mean, I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But I mean, I guess if there's well, no, wait, I don't know.
Well, to kind of elaborate on Harper's comments, he wants a gold medal. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the other sports that have that are in the Olympics, American football is not an Olympic sport, but hockey and basketball are. And for the NBA season ends in June, the Olympics is in August, and then for hockey, the Olympics are in February, but the season is ends in help me out a little bit. I can, but it doesn't either way.
It's not for a little while,
right? But the point I'm trying to make is it doesn't overlap with the NHL season. But for the Summer Olympics in August, that overlaps with Major League Baseball season. So him as a player who wants to play in the Olympics and wants a shot at a gold medal, and I don't blame him. I'd want a shot at a gold medal if I was an elite player like him. He's looking at those other sports I just mentioned and saying they get to play, their pros get to play, so I want to too. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, I don't blame him for it. He just, if you go back and listen to it, because I wouldn't be able to quote him word for word on it. I just saw it one time. He has a way of not saying things in a manner that comes across well. And he's just so serious whenever he's talking about stuff, and I completely get it, because it's something that he really wants. So I understand where he's coming from and what's going on with that. He was just so dead serious as he was saying it. I think people were kind of like, "Bro, what?" But I mean, I don't disagree with him on it. I just think he didn't use his words very well.
No, and also the thing about Bryce in general, he is. if you were to put together two categories of heroes or well-liked guys in baseball and villains or very disliked guys in baseball, he falls in the villain category.
He plays in the villain very well. I
He
love
is-
Bryce Harper, but
Well-
a lot of people don't agree with me.
Well, I do too, especially when he was younger and he was more hot-headed and just true, like, because he doesn't do it as much anymore, but, obviously he had so many dust up with umpires. He would have dust up with other players. And not just because I don't know, I'm not going to confirm whether or not he's a jerk, but it's just, he's a passionate guy who is going to speak his mind. So he's developed that kind of villain look and mantra, and he embraces it. He doesn't care. But I like the guy because I love his passion, and not just because he has lived up to the hype of being labeled the chosen one on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he was 16, like LeBron James did.
Yeah, I think, and it's easy to it's really easy to dislike a guy that has that kind of reputation. I think a lot of people don't I don't think a lot of people, because when you do see something about Bryce Harper, either he's smashing a monster home run, or he's getting in somebody's face about something, or he's expressing his opinion on something, and people don't stop to see how much he has. I mean, it's not near on the level it used to be, that's for sure. He has calmed down a lot. And a lot of people don't see that side of it, but either way, I still am a huge fan of him.
Me too. I'm a fan of him, and I hope he reaches the 500 home run mark so it guarantees his ticket to the Hall of Fame. That's what I'm hoping for the guy. But to your point, I think it's just, this is, I can attest, maybe it comes with age. You just kind of mellow out a little bit. Again, at this point in his career, again, when you're younger, you're going to have more of a temper, so to speak, especially when you're a competitive professional level athlete. And with age, I'm not saying he's matured per se. I mean, he's just kind of understood, whatever. But again, he has provided still some entertaining moments, whether it's with the big home run, a big hit, or of course, he let Angel Hernandez have it on Angel's way out the door. So
yeah,
and he gave a kid a free souvenir when he tossed his helmet into the stands.
Yeah, I mean, I love a good bench clearer here and there. So I love that he can get that going every now and then. It's kind of fun sometimes. It's not as fun as it used to be when they'd come out just absolutely swinging at each other. Now it's a little bit more just everybody having a very heated discussion, but still, it's nice to see a little fire every now and then.
Especially when he provides a comical moment when he charged Hunter Strickland and threw the helmet the wrong way.
Tossed his helmet and it just.
Well, he did. It is funny. I didn't know this, but it was kind of a funny story. The Giants second baseman, I can't remember who it was. They used to be teammates, so like he kind of joked like, I was just tossing him my helmet before I started swinging punches a little bit.
I did see. What was he? He was on Bussin' with the Boys or something a couple weeks ago and was talking about it. And, he's able to go back and laugh about it now. But, his opinion is that you should be able to fight it out. You can fight it out in hockey. Let the two guys get out there and get it over with and get it done. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that every now and then.
I will say one more brawl from a different perspective that's more embarrassing. Ventura charging Nolan Ryan, that was a little more embarrassing. And I say that because when you watch that again, Robin Ventura hesitates twice. First, when Nolan initially hits him, he stops with the bat and thinks, do I want to do this? And then he goes, yes. And then as he's running at Nolan Ryan, he kind of stutters a little bit. Listen, man, if you're going to fight a guy, you've got it. You can't stop. You got to go. You can't. And then Nolan has a perfect opportunity just to grab his head and just pummels him.
Well, and I did see where Robin had said one time that it was decided in the dugout the next guy that got hit was going to go. And unfortunately, it was him, and he did not want to do it, but it had already been decided, so he had no choice. So the hesitation is there because it was not something he wanted to go do. I wouldn't want to go run out there. I don't care how old he is. I wouldn't want to go run out there against Nolan Ryan now.
Nolan's a bona fide. He's honestly not a bona fide badass, but he's a native Texan. He's a guy you don't want to mess with. But
Yeah.
To pivot a little bit to another one, to a Rockies related, one of the best ones I gotta say is when Nolan charged that one Padres reliever, whoever it was.
I saw a video of that the other day.
Oh God, because Nolan, he was full throttle right after.
Crazy.
Because not only this, because he got to him and then he backpedaled away from it, and Nolan turned and still went after him. It looked like Nolan had he had a fire in his eyes, like literally burnt,
Yeah.
like that little joke, like cartoon when you have fire burning in your eyes. He looked like he had his eyes on fire.
Yeah, Nolan went full tilt on that one. I did that popped up. I don't remember. My daughter was watching video like YouTube compilations of fights, and Nolan goes running out there, and I was like, "Oh, I remember that." But
And Nolan, I'm
they're
surprised.
fun.
I thought Nolan was going to get a full series suspension. They only suspended him one game. I thought he'd get more, but yeah. Oh, speaking of Nolan, I almost forgot. I want to bring this up because remember 3 years ago in 2023, he played for Team USA, but this year he's playing for Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to bring this into debate which team he should play for or not. It's just different seeing him play for. That's his decision. It's his heritage, so I'm not going to knock him on that. It's just interesting play, kind of different USA, and then he pivots over to a different uniform. But it's nice for him. I mean, I don't think he hasn't provided any highlight moments, but he seems to be playing well, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, it is a little odd to make that kind of a jump, especially in an event like this where you're supposed to be representing your country, and here you represented one half of your heritage last time, and this time you're going for the other half. I mean, it's, like you said, it's up to him, but it is a little bit odd, but let him go do what he's going to do, I suppose.
I think A-Rod did the same thing. I think he played for the U.S. one year, and then he played for, I think it was also Puerto Rico another year. It was either, I can't remember what his heritage is. I think he is Puerto Rican, I believe.
I don't remember.
I think it's Puerto, but I do. One thing, it's funny. I do remember back when the year he played for Team USA 3 years ago, in the final at bat between Trout and Ohtani, they cut away to DeRosa on the top step, and right behind him with a bat in his hand getting ready was Nolan. Because he was not on deck. I believe he was in the hole. Because I can't remember who was batting cleanup that year, but I do believe Nolan was in the hole to bat if Trout did in fact get on. So, which he came very close to anyway. So, anyway, so that's the WBC. Just stay tuned, and hopefully we'll see how it turns, how the final pool play sets up. Just some other Rockies news that I just came across. Of course, Doyle he's back from the wrist injury. He said he feels almost 100%, but he seems to be doing fine. He's not afraid to make diving plays in the outfield. So hopefully he doesn't re-aggravate that. I haven't seen him wince or feel any pain when swinging. Have you noticed anything with him?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch last night. I was out doing some stuff during the game, but I was kind of checking in and going back and watching here and there where I could. I didn't see anything from him. He did, let's see, what did he do last night? I'll have to look and see. I forgot already.
No worries.
There's been so much going on.
I know.
Let's see, Saturday, Brenton Doyle that's the Dodgers. I don't care about that. 1 for 3 with an RBI.
It isn't. Well, that works out. I mean, again, given the fact that he's come back from injury, he's just trying to get back into the swing of things and make sure he doesn't re-aggravate the injury. And of course, you and I talked about in the pre-show meeting, there is another article. Kyle Karros looks to have third base locked down, but the battle still somewhat rages on because he did get 2 hits today. Tyler Freeman also got 2 hits today. I don't know. Again, like I said, when Tovar returns, he's got the shortstop spot. I don't think it's an outlandish thing that Ryan Ritter, of course, is not inserting himself into the conversation. I don't think Karros is. I mean, he's close, but I mean, second base, we haven't heard much as far as there being much of a competition between Castro, Amador, and Ritter. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that's spot. But I do believe it's a matter of time before Rumfield gets anointed the opening day first baseman.
Yeah, and I don't know that Amador has not had a bad spring, but I just don't know that I feel like he's probably going to be in one of these upcoming rounds of guys getting assigned back to AAA, unless Ritter just absolutely tanks out for some reason in the next week or two. I don't know. I just don't. I don't see Amador really being too much in the conversation.
Mhm.
I would like for him to be, but I just don't feel like he really is.
I agree with you. I don't think Amador's in the conversation for opening day. I think he's going to be in Albuquerque at second base on opening, and when the season starts, it is. So,
Mhm.
not to say he's not going to get another chance. I'm sure he's made his impression, at least his first impression, on this new front office leadership. So, we're going to know his fate eventually. Maybe he's included in a trade someday to upgrade the roster. Maybe he gets non-tendered. I don't know. But I don't think it's the last we've seen in him. He could very well get another opportunity, especially if injuries happen. That's always the case. He could get
Yeah.
an everyday opportunity. We just have to wait and see. But I don't know. Wild idea. I think it could be down to Castro and Ryan Ritter for the opening day second base spot.
I kind of feel like it is. That's really more where I'm leaning. I think the only thing is you've got so many guys that can play in so many different spots because you've got Julian, you've got Troy Johnston, you've got Castro, you've got Ritter building some versatility. You've even got Tyler Freeman as somebody that can be an infielder for you. Even with injuries, where does Amador fit into that? Like where do you at what point do you call him up when you have so many guys that you can kind of plug and play into different positions?
It is good to have versatility, but the one fear I have is when you play guys out of position. You put an
Mhm.
athletic infielder into the outfield. I just don't want to see that. I don't want guys playing out of position. That's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Because because I mean, if a guy is developed to play a certain position or a few positions, that's fine. It is rare for a guy to be very successful, to be good, all around talented, or produce or be productive at more than, let's say, three positions. There are
Mhm.
select guys who can do it. I mean, one of my favorite utility players of all time is Sean Figgins. I don't know if anybody remembers that guy. Played for the Angels and Mariners. He could play second, short, third, and then both corner outfield spots with center field on a rare occasion. So rare is it a guy who could be as defensively diverse as someone like him. It's just when these young guys come up, I don't want them playing out of position. So if you
Yeah.
so again, just gotta wait and see. That's my personal opinion, but again, I don't work in player development.
Well,
I'm not our farm director. And I don't think I'd be qualified to be one.
I don't think I'd want that job.
Well, you'd be traveling a lot. That's the one thing that would probably wear on me is if traveling too much. That would be probably would take a little bit of a wear and tear on me.
I don't like to leave my house unless I'm going to Coors Field. And so I don't that's not the job for me.
Well, the good news is if you had to go to Albuquerque, you could drive through that. You could drive through the mountains.
Well,
I mean, from my understanding, it's only about pending weather conditions. It's only about 6-7 hours if I'm right.
um I want to say I think it's 5 or 6. I don't know. I'd have to look.
Well,
I don't ever make the trip from because for me, I am I'm 4.5 from Denver and I'm right
mm,
at 5 from Albuquerque, but it's further between the two than it is for me to get to either one of them from where I'm at. Um, I think it's like 5.5 or 6, something like that.
well, at least it's not like the White Sox, who their AAA team is all the way in North Carolina.
Oh,
So if you get sent down, you can't get in your car. You got to get on a plane unless you want to. I have driven that. It's not as bad as you would think, but at the same time, no, it's not something I want to make on a routine. So, anywho, um, that's all. That's as far as the news I can see come around camp. Are there any stories you've heard as far as that I may or may not be missing?
um, no, I really think we've covered pretty much everything. I've been paying attention to a lot of what Warren has been saying about some of these guys. Uh, it's really been he and Chase both agreed that while Chase's outing was not bad the other day, it was not as efficient as Chase would like to be. Um, but really, I mean, Warren's pretty happy with a lot of what he's seeing. It's nice to see happy Warren Schaefer so often. He looks like he's having a really good time.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, I think we've pretty well covered everything that's going on. I can't think of anything else I've really seen him talk about
Mhm.
outside of just, he's not worried about Lorenzen's starts have been a little shaky, but he's not worried about it because he knows what Lorenzen uses spring training for. Um, yeah, I think we've really got everything so far.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, we'll see how the final roster shakes up as opening day comes around and the two exhibition games approach. So keep an eye out for our shows and of course our weekly or daily posts. So be sure if you're not, follow our Rockies Now pages on Instagram, X, and of course our Threads page. And don't forget to click subscribe to the YouTube channel for updates on new content. We have more content coming out as the season approaches, and we'll be launching new stuff during the season. Um, any final thoughts for you, Sarah? As far, oh, actually, we hold on. We have actually
Luke's
before we
here.
go, we finally Luke, how you doing? Well, our good friend Luke here is in the comments. Honestly, all guys look happy in interviews this spring. Some joy there. So, Sarah, you want to elaborate more on the joyous occasion that we have in spring training?
It is so nice to see because I mean, last year, everybody know last year was not a good time for anybody. There were some
Mhm,
moments that were a lot of fun for people, but overall, those poor guys, every single time they talked to somebody, they just
mhm,
looked like they wanted to crawl in a hole. And throughout spring, even if it hasn't gone really well for somebody, like I saw Gabriel Hughes the other day, um, had a little bit of a rough time, but he
mhm,
still was very positive about what he can take away from that. And just the mindset shift has really been from we're just trying to survive to
mhm.
we're making things happen this time. This is a whole completely different setup from what they've had in the past. And it's been a lot of fun to see all the guys just really enjoying what they're doing this year rather than just trying to survive it like they did last season.
Agreed. And Luke, of course, comments missed you all tonight, but you're great. Yes. So again, and when you view and watch our shows that we record live, whether it's on X or on YouTube, or our Discord channel. Forgot about that. Be sure you click and subscribe to that. Be sure you participate. We do try to get to all the comments that are in the comment section. We do enjoy the active participation in these recordings. So come on, come one, come all, hop in, make your comment. Let's keep it nice and good, and try and keep the vibes optimistic as high as possible, as optimistic as possible, even if the Rockies go on a cold streak, which is going to happen at some point during the season. We're going to have hot streaks. We're going to have cold streaks. So brace
Let's just
yourselves,
hope
everybody.
it's not a really long one.
Well, let me tell you about long cold streaks. I mean, the White Sox in 2024, come on. I went through that.
Yeah,
They can't be as bad as that. Let me tell you.
it was
Let
so
take it from
close last year.
well, again, remember almost or so close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Very true.
So
Very true.
it didn't happen. So just let's all leave it at that. If 119 is fine. We're tied with who was it? The 2003 Tigers, I believe, were also lost
I think
119 games.
so.
So, but either way, it doesn't matter. We didn't make
I try not to
history
think
for
about it.
we did make history for the wrong reason. So let's all as Rockies fans be thankful and grateful for that. And but also just an official announcement here. I know we changed our schedule a little bit. We are going to have our weekly episodes on Tuesday nights and
Oh,
Sunday nights.
Sunday nights.
Yeah, Sunday nights at 6:45 Mountain Time, 7:45 Central Time. So just again, plan accordingly. That's PM. So just plan accordingly if you want to watch live. And again, be sure you subscribe to our X and YouTube and Discord accounts where you can watch and participate in the show live and in the comment section. We welcome all participation from all the viewers. So hop on in, leave your comments, and we try to get to all of them. Sarah, any final thoughts before we wrap up tonight's show? WBC, Rocky stuff. I mean, my personal comments, just looking over at the pool play, it's going to be interesting. The U.S. is not too far from clinching. Other teams like Italy, Puerto Rico, Cuba, the DR, and of course Venezuela look to be joining them. So
Mhm.
I don't think there's going to be any big upsets as far as this goes. What do you think?
I don't see anything really. I mean, I think this was before the WBC started. I think this was really kind of where everybody thought things were going to shake out. The only one that is a little bit iffy as far as the second team, I think, is it's really, is it going to be Italy or Mexico? Is the one that is a little bit iffy right now. I still feel like Mexico's probably got the edge there, but that's the only
Well,
one I see kind of being, who knows.
I would throw Australia in there. They're 2-1 right now. I'm not sure how I'm not sure how they'll work for them if they had to go to a tiebreaker, but I mean, Australia, they've got a nice team. They got an under the radar team. So I'm going to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. So that's my thing. Again, we'll just have to wait and see. That's my thing. So, but again, the final games from pool play, just so everybody knows, are March 10th. Am I right about that, sir? It's March 10th.
I believe the quarterfinals starts the 13th. I know.
Yeah,
that.
I think they have a day or I believe they have at least a day or two off to get to their respective cities. I believe.
Yeah, they'll have. Let's see, because the U.S. still has 3 more games to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the 11th actually is the day that it ends.
Okay, sounds good, because I know they give them at least one day off for travel purposes because they got to go to the sites. And just to remind everybody, the finals once again is going to be at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. So be prepared. The roof is likely going to be closed. I think they do that whether or not because they just want to keep the AC nice, the temperature cool in that, and they don't want to worry about the outside humidity from the Miami weather. So keep in mind, just like 3 years ago, it is going to be in Miami. Okay, well, I think that about wrap it up as far for this episode of the Rockies Now podcast. Again, if you're not following us on social media, be sure you do on Instagram, X, Discord, YouTube, etc. Be sure, of course, you click subscribe on the YouTube channel so you get up to dates on when we go live and all of our other content. For all of us at Rockies Now, including Sarah and myself, have a good night, everybody. And as always, go Rockies.